Welcome to the conversation. I'm Ishan Russell. And today we're talking about the mother of all battles in this Lok Sabha elections of 2014, the battle for the temple town of Varanasi. The main players in the fray, of course, BJP's prime ministerial candidate Narendra Modi, the AAP leader Arvind Kejriwal, as well as Mukhtar Ansari. And the Congress is still deciding on who to put up in that fight. So first take a look at this story and we'll discuss more about this.
Kashi and its 80 ghats play host to millions of pilgrims and tourists alike every year. Kashi and its 80 ghats play host to millions of pilgrims and tourists alike every year. But this year, the holy city is playing host to the mother of all battles of the general elections 2014, as BJP's prime ministerial candidate Narendra Modi is the star candidate.
We are the clear party, we have a clear plan, we have the clear leader, and we have the clear popularity. And we will get clear mandate.
But it's not as easy for Modi, as he faces AK-49 Arvind Kejriwal of AAP, who has jumped into the fray. The other contender in Qaumi Ekta Dal candidate Mukhtar Ansari. The Don-turned-politician enjoys a Robin Hood image amongst the minority community and had lost the last elections by a mere 16,000 votes.
All right, so in the studio today to discuss this, we have senior journalist Saeed Naqvi joining us and Mr. Dilip Charian. He's an image guru, well-known image guru. Thanks very much for coming into the conversation. I'll quickly start with you as how do you see this could be the defining battle for 2014, irrespective of whether BJP reaches 272 or not, or who forms the government, who wins Varanasi could really decide everything.
But why do you say that? Why do you call it the mother of all battles? Because the Congress is not yet in the fray. Are they hesitating? Are they trying to pull out their best guns for that battle? Is there going to be a no Congress candidate in this battle, or maybe a notional one? I mean, these are important ponderables. I have a feeling the battle in Raebareli and Amethi has hotted up, with Smita Irani having been fielded from and the BJP apparently looking for someone strong in Raebareli. So yes, it's a very photogenic, it's a very telegenic campaign, because it's a wonderful city of Kashi. It is on the Ganga. It is almost epitomizes the very spirit and soul of India, but the soul of India, whether which way do you want it to be? Does it represent Hindu nationalism, or does it represent the softer tones of Hindu civilization, which is all embracing, where you have all the communities? I mean, Varanasi, after all, is a city where just until day before yesterday, you had Bismillah Khan, who played the Shehnai will never ever be played like that.
Absolutely.
He played in the Vishwanath temple, and on the 10th of Muharram, he walked bare feet playing the Shehnai until the Taziyas were buried in the river. So you have a very picture of composite culture. It is also something in our minds. It has now become a little unkept city. But I like to romanticize it because I saw it when I was a student.
All right. Dilip, as far as the personality, it's the battle of the big personalities also. Arvind Kejriwal versus Narendra Modi, and the Congress talking about Digvijay Singh also in the fray. So this personality clash is perhaps what is defining, and that's why I'm calling it the mother of all battles. What would you say?
You know, I tend to take the mother of all battles quite seriously, the terminology. I agree with Said Saab that there could be very interesting other battles in Uttar Pradesh. But I get a feeling that this battle is going to have more by way of fire and brimstone. I hope it doesn't have any violence, but it will certainly have a lot more visual impact. One, because Modi himself is such an aggressive, image-conscious person who has now declared himself the future Prime Minister of India, meaning his phone calls to voters, which has already started, already anoints himself in his own voice as the Pradhan Mantri in waiting. So that is a kind of tempo which only the soft-spoken, very clear and equally kind of rapier sharp Arvind Kejriwal will be able to battle. Smriti Irani is a great actress, and she's a terrific candidate and has the ability to engage with
Amethi.
crowds for Amethi.
Yes.
But I don't think that Rahul shall I say, respond with.
Yes, this will be more a direct clash or one-on-one clash.
Yeah, this
And
would be symbolic. Sorry.
the other thing is that, in some senses, globally, Benares will be more watched simply because of the fact that it looks like a David versus Goliath kind of battle. And that's that's the reason why it would be, in a sense, the mother of all battles. It looks like an unfair battle to start with, but as Malcolm Gladwell says, there is a logic why David wins and Goliath doesn't win each time.
Right. Said Saab, you want to come in?
Well, I just wanted to say one thing, that Benares is one, Varanasi, always been Benares to us, has in fact an anecdote when what is nationalism came home to me in a very telling way. I happened to be in Damascus long years ago, and people told me that, do you know, this is the longest continuous habitation in the history of man, that is Damascus. And I got into a scrap with those people. I said, how do you dare say that? Because we believe that Varanasi is the oldest inhabited city in the world. And for the first time, I found myself feeling like an Indian on that one issue. That was nationalism to me. What nationalism Modi is selling has to be found out.
All right. I'd just like to remind all our viewers that you too can join in the conversation. Hashtag India Post Live is, of course, our hashtag on Twitter. Just write your comment and hashtag India Post Live, and you can join the conversation, indiapostlive.com. You can log on to that and post your video comments, post any other comments you have. Come join in the conversation. We, of course, would like to have you participate in our conversation through Skype. You can ask questions to the experts over here. But Said Saab, I'll start with a breakdown of the major cast, how this election is shaping up. Who do you think, between Arvind Kejriwal, Narendra Modi, and perhaps the Congress candidate? The Congress is still to decide between perhaps Digvijay Singh or that MLA Ajay Rai. So how do you see this in terms of simply a purely electoral battle? How do you see this shaping up?
You see, there is a huge disconnect between Arjun Kejriwal and the conventional mode of electioneering. So we are used to the usual mode, and here's somebody who in this arena where cricket is played, comes and starts playing rounders or baseball. He's playing a different kind of game. So he is not following the script as we've been accustomed to. What he is doing, I mean, I was in another city, exactly. A fellow walked into my room. He's been going around the city in a scooter, two-wheeler. And I said, I'm the candidate. And I said, and who else? Is one chap with him who's a pillion rider, both of them wearing AAP caps. So here you are with this very, very Gandhian simplicity and one-to-one connection. You see, he's a great communicator. Immediately, he doesn't hesitate. He connects immediately with your camera. He connects immediately with the people. So that is, and there's no rhetoric to him. There are certain charms in that man. Does he have the wherewithal? Does he have the means to cover everything? I don't know. I don't know.
Somebody was mentioning that for the AAP, they'll be targeting the Banya vote, of course, the community that Kejriwal belongs to, and also the Benares Hindu University votes, trying to get in students into the fold. What we saw in Delhi, could that be repeated in Benares with the AAP, Dilip?
I think it really depends on the level of engagement that Arvind and his team. He hasn't really started campaigning in Benares. He just went there to, to anoint himself in water, which became a story in itself. But exactly as Said Saab said, the tactics he's going to use are going to be very different. I think that it also depends exactly on what you said a little while ago, on the composition, the population composition of Benares and how he harnesses it. Youth power and Benares Hindu University is a huge part of his appeal. And I think that the young have so far been beguiled by what Modi has shown as his offering. But I think that the youth are now beginning to ask, what's in there for us? That's going to be the point of inflection. in 3 days from now, when the BJP unveils its manifesto, the young will get a sense as to whether there is something in the Modi package that is going to make them vote for him. For the moment, the reason that they are excited is because he's the man with the difference. Now there's another man who's already promised a difference, and he has delivered some kind of a difference in his administration of Delhi. Will that work? My guess is that it's going to be a battle which is not yet to be written off. Modi has money power. He has probably about 20,000 volunteers in the city already. Arvind needs about 2,000 to match that.
All right, Arvind needs 2,000 volunteers. I'm sure people, I know people who are already willing to travel from Delhi to Varanasi to camp over there for Kejriwal. So let's see how that shapes up. But Syed Saab, I want to talk about the minority votes there, because Mukhtar Ansari is a candidate. He's a Don turned politician, a Robin Hood kind of an image. And there are about a sizable chunk of minority votes, about 4 lakhs. So how does that shape?
It was Mukhtar Ansari plus BSP, because BSP had also attracted, with the disenchantment and sort of with the Samajwadi Party, a great large sections of Muslims had drifted towards the BSP also. And Mukhtar happened to be a Muslim plus BSP. He doesn't have the BSP stamp this time. That's one. Secondly, the Muslims were from pillar to post. They were going to the Congress, then they were going to the Samajwadi Party, then they were settling in for this awning, this shamiana that BSP gave them. And suddenly, they are beginning to look at the one-stop shop called Aam Aadmi Party. Now, where's the hesitation? They don't know the stamina and the go it has. But if, for instance, in this election, it comes up trumps and is promising, you have got an area where there's going to be a lot of hemorrhaging of Muslim vote in that direction.
So it's not just en bloc that will go to Mukhtar Ansari, as many political analysts have been saying that he really commands that vote.
That's the easy one. That means the Muslims will vote for a Muslim. No. They will vote for whoever is, in fact, they have a choice. Whoever votes is defeating the BJP. That's one principle. The other is that Kejriwal, and they are emerging, and the attraction so far has been that they have not been talking about too much on secularism. Although the one or two statements he made that communalism is a bigger danger than even corruption, and then we haven't heard too much about that. So long as politicians don't talk about Hindu, Muslim, secularism, the Muslim vote will go to them.
All right. Dilip, as far as the strategies go, the Congress seems to have lost out on strategy over here. I mean, the BJP managed to get a very strategic tie-up for Varanasi, which is the Patel vote through the Apna Dal. The Apna Dal commands about 2.5 lakh votes. The Congress has been negotiating them for a very long time, and they couldn't get them. That happened with Paswan. Has the Congress lost the plot in terms of strategy? They still haven't been able to decide the candidate also for this particular seat.
I think in terms of strategy, they definitely are slow off the mark. They just can't make a decision. The second thing is that their decisions are taken in cabals or methods which are not immediately clear to the public. And the public wants to know why they're going after a particular arrangement, and as long as the arrangements work. Now moving swiftly from Varanasi to Kerala, the combinations in Kerala are already in place. Now that's the kind of thing they should be doing in a state like UP. UP will finally decide, and Varanasi in many senses will decide who rules India. Meaning UP and Bihar will definitely decide that. So I think that they're slow off the mark. They haven't got their house in order, and having a candidate in place would have been a great idea unless they're going to pull a real rabbit out of the hat.
Do they have time, and do they have the confidence to even do that anymore? The Congress,
don't know. I've started seeing mother and son start campaigning now, and there seems to be a little bit of vigor in them. Before that, they had given the impression that they had more or less conceded. They had created an impression that they had more or less conceded, that they were not in the contest. And now so whether there is, to this day, look at again, I go back to the two constituencies of Raebareli and Amethi. There's no one looking after them. There's a notional feeling here that Priyanka is looking after these two, but she doesn't go there. She hasn't been there yet. And I checked up, and they said, well, on the second, the lady, Sonia, is going to go there to file her nomination, and then probably Priyanka will go. So there's a huge machinery of the Congress party in UP is moribund and sleeping. It is not very active.
All right. Let's get in a few viewer tweets that have come in. Snow Leopard at Snow Leopard writes in that agreed that Arvind Kejriwal is different, but do we need the style of tantrum politics? You talked about this, Said Saab. Dilip, I'll come to you on this one. As far as Arvind Kejriwal's brand of politics is completely out of the box. India's never experienced anything like that. And in terms of conventional understanding of politics, nobody knows what to make of this. So Varanasi could even be something like a surprise or shocker like Delhi.
You know, the chances of it being a shocker like Delhi are high because don't forget the BJP candidate there, Murli Manohar Joshi, has created enormous resentment for the BJP as a party. Now, therefore, a naysayer or a tantrum thrower like Arvind has space. It's a natural space because you have a large part of the audience saying, okay, Narendra Modi is not going to sit here, he's going to take the seat in Gujarat. And if the BJP has tended to ignore Varanasi because it is a Hindu city, it's our stakes in the ground anyway. So they are anxious. The citizens of Benares are, and I've met many of them, are particularly conscious of the fact of what Said said, that the civic collapse, the deterioration of the city, the fact that large parts of the Ganges are so polluted, all of that hurts the citizens of Delhi, of Varanasi. And they're not going to sit quiet on this. So the party which Narendra Modi represents or seeks to represent is not, shall I say, in great favor. So tantrum throwing on behalf of the city and saying, I'm going to put my stakes in here and I'm going to represent you guys and your interests is going to work. So let's see if Arvind is able to convince them that he's not going to move to Delhi.
Say so.
There are two or three things here. One is, he has struck the right symbolic chords. He took a dip in the Holy Ganga. All right? Everyone saw that. He invoked the name of Madan Mohan Malviya, the founder of Benares Hindu University. His symbol is the broom, the jhadu, which invokes a great sympathy and empathy, more than anything else, among the Valmikis, those whose job it is to keep the city clean. So you've got all these elements, and the Muslims will be inclined towards him. So you've got a combination which will only a very determined BJP can take on with a degree of confidence.
All right, I want to talk about Murli Manohar Joshi and the politics he's had to play, because last time the win for him wasn't that by that great a margin. It was about 16,000 votes when compared to the size of the constituency. It was quite a close fight. As far as the Brahmin vote is concerned, the Congress and the AAP both are trying to say that the BJP has not done enough for you. They've taken the Brahmin candidate that you had from there and pushed him out of there. So as far as the Brahmin vote is concerned, that is not really, I mean, the BJP could assume a lot on its part of saying that the 3 lakh Brahmin votes are there with it, but are they really there with them?
Well, this is a very good question, because the Brahmin vote in Varanasi and in the state is actually the one that is the brooding vote. It's an intelligent vote. It does not show its hand easily, and therefore, what is the Brahmin? That could it's a game changer, because at this point in time, look at the history. The Brahmin was in the habit of working under Pandit Govind Vallabh Pant's apparatus, right? He had access right up to the top, right up to the Prime Minister's office here. Then it all collapsed in the 90s under this mandalized politics. He shifted to the BJP. The BJP had also got sensitive to mandal politics. It produced Kalyan Singh, who's a load. Now, this was a little not exactly to the comfort of the Brahmin. Then Mayawati started setting out her blandishments by Satish Mishra and others, and they created some kind of a haven for the Brahmins there. Now this time, Whether the Hindutva and the Modi wave will get them back or not is a big question, because there are two things here. Modi is not a Brahmin, and moreover there's too much of Thakur in the air, with Rajnath Singh being there, and there's always been a running feud between the Thakurs and the Brahmins. So therefore, all things considered, I don't know.
All right. We have viewers coming in on Skype. KG Srinivas joins us from Noida. KG, Mr. Srinivas, thank you very much for joining the conversation. Your comments on this battle, mother of all battles as we are calling it, the battle for Varanasi in 2014.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I had a question for Mr. Naqvi, and that is as follows. You have two complete outsiders to Varanasi in the mother world battles. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. You have Modi and Kejriwal.
Yeah.
Realistically speaking, what do you think? What would be the realistic impact on voter reaction or voter behavior with the arrival of these two candidates?
You are asking whether both of them being outsiders, whether that
Correct.
makes a difference. I mean, Murli Manohar Joshi was also an outsider. He is from the hills, from Kumaon. So he was an outsider. Therefore, Varanasi is the kind of symbol of India. It's an iconic place where any Indian can identify himself with. I mean, in my misspent youth, when I used to spend in Varanasi, I would identify myself with Benares. So that, I think, is that you need localism in Varanasi. I think maybe not the right question.
Does that satisfy your query, Srinivas, or would you like to add to that?
A quick supplementary.
sure.
What impact do you think Kejriwal from Delhi will have on Varanasi?
Kejriwal will have because his usual campaign has been against corruption, and the manner in which he connects with the people, walking, and not a very ostentatious campaign. You see, there are two or three things which characterize Kejriwal's campaign. That he doesn't have money behind him, that in fact he's taking on big money, and he says that Congress and the BJP are Tweedledum and Tweedledee. They are both taking money from the same sources. They are committed to crony capitalism. This is the kind of rhetoric that will go down well in a city, because don't forget, it's a city of Kashi Vishwanath. It's also the city of Benares Hindu University. It's also the city of lakhs and lakhs of Muslims. It's a city of composite culture. Therefore, Varanasi represents India in all its multifarious. It is not just, it is Hindu in the larger sense of the term. In the civilizational, it is Hindu in the civilizational sense of the term. It is not Hindu in the segregational sense.
All right, hope that answers your question, Srinivas. But Sai Saab, I also want to get you in, and Dilip, you too, as far as the Congress's politics is concerned. Their strategy, and a couple of newspapers suggested this morning, that it'll be the Congress would try to create a Brahmin versus Thakur, as Sai Saab was mentioning it, that kind of a divide, saying that Rajnath Singh is, of course, a Thakur, and therefore the Brahmins could go with the BJP, with the Congress this time around. Do you think the Congress, perhaps that would in turn say that maybe ensure that Digvijay Singh does not fight from this seat?
You know, this Thakur thing, as Mr. Naqvi already said, is a little heightened in the BJP at the moment. So I would say that if the Congress's strategy were to try and get some segment of the vote, the Brahmins unfortunately are not with them across UP. So, to expect that they would suddenly change patterns and behave as if they love the Congress in Varanasi is a bit unlikely. So I think that it's a weak card at the most, and the Congress has always had huge appeal to get candidates from the Brahmin sect, but other than that, the victory margins are not great, and the victory chances are, I would say, pretty low.
But Dilip, the whole point here is, you're right, exactly, Dilip Shariyar is fine. But the Brahmin will go whoever, he is the person who sees far ahead. He is not going to go and waste his vote on a party which doesn't look like a winner.
All right, Srinivas also has a question. Srinivas, you had something to add to that?
Yeah, quickly, this apart from the caste calculation, and to add to what Dilip had just asked about the Brahmin impact on the Congress, apart from all these caste calculations, Mr. Naqvi and Mr. Dilip, what do you think will the Congress's impact be on Varanasi? Apart from all the caste calculations, in view of what has been Rahul Gandhi's performance on the national stage, what would be the impact of the Congress on Varanasi?
May I? You know, Rahul is a souffle that has not risen. You know, a souffle which is, and if it, in fact, he is giving indications of a great deal of energy now, it has come very late in the day. Because earlier, his own party men, he was busy working on an American model of selecting candidates. Just a month ago, he was saying he's going to have 16 people he's going to select, and that is going to be some kind of a pilot project. So he was busy with pilot projects. And therefore, the Congress, the campaign has been a little late in taking off. And therefore, it is people in UP are not, in my view. I shouldn't be saying this on the eve of elections. I don't want to come in for one or the other, but my impression is that the people do not see the Congress party as a winner in UP in these elections. And therefore, I think all the calculations that you are talking about are irrelevant.
All right. I hope that answers your query, Srinivas. We look forward to having you join the conversation more often. Thanks very much for coming in. You too can join in the conversation, you the viewer. Of course, the conversation on India Post Live continues right over here. Hashtag India Post Live on Twitter. And your comments, you can post them over there. IndiaPostLive.com. You can go over there, post your video comments if you want to join into the conversation on Skype. Please go ahead. Final question, gentlemen. As far as this battle is concerned, the election is some time away, still some time away, so a lot could happen. May 12th is when the polling happens over there. But given at this juncture, who has the edge and what can the other do to counter that edge? Both of you. Dilip first.
I would say that Modi definitely has the edge. He has money power, he has an organized party, and he has Amit Shah. And all three are relevant at this point in time. Arvind is still not yet on the starting block. As I said, he only staked his claim, and then he's left the premises. He's going to focus on other places. So the battle hasn't quite begun. So I would say Arvind is an unknown quantity as to what he will do. The only thing that is known about him is that he will spring surprises on us. And Modi definitely has an upper hand because his juggernaut, as it were, is rolling across UP. The Congress, non-starter yet, but I guess they always want to start last. So that's a game which is still open. I think their chances I would put as pretty low at the moment.
I entirely go along with what Dilip has summed up. They are off the block already, the BJP is, and Modi therefore has that edge. The surprise element lies with that suspense is going to, remember, on the 7th of December, no one in the country knew what was in the cards on the 8th of December. Yes. In the morning we woke up, Congress had lost in 4 states, and here in Delhi, you suddenly had this AAP come up on a scale no one had imagined. Likewise, we will have to live with this suspense, I'm afraid, till the 16th of May, when you will suddenly either see AAP or see the impact it has had on the election. Impact it will have had, because it has changed the terms of endearment.
All right. On that note, gentlemen, thank you very much for coming in and joining in the conversation. Of course, once again, you too can join in the conversation. What do you think about Benares or Varanasi? Who do you think could be the winner over here? Well, do log on to IndiaPostLive.com and post your comments over there. You can also join us on Twitter. Hashtag IndiaPostLive is the Twitter hashtag that you can add to your tweets. On that note, thanks very much for joining us. But the conversation, of course, continues right over here. Thanks so much.